That's
Just
right.
to harass you and scare you.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
I had a
Just to
pen
let
in
you
my
know they
house,
were there.
a U.S. government pen. It said U.S. government skillcraft. It was left on my dresser.
Well, what it is, they're just letting you know they can get in your house anytime they want to.
Right.
And what happened was one night, I went to bed about 11 o'clock, and I had a letter that I was going to fax the first thing the next morning and left it on my desk. I got up the next morning, it was gone. And then I have folders, boxes with folders in them with the labels up. Every once in a while, I'll look in there, and one of the folders is turned upside down.
And they'll do it on purpose just so that you know that they've been
Yeah,
there.
they're
Just to
they're trying
remind you that they know exactly what you're doing.
Okay, now we're going to need to take a break, and after this break, we're going to find out from Chip who he thinks is responsible for some of these, the harassment. So stay with us. Okay, thanks for being with us. We have a very powerful show here tonight, and we're returning to Chip Tatum, who's going to tell us a little bit about who's been doing the harassment.
Well, you know, Ryan, in the industry, whenever we get a tasking down to, and what they're talking about is a neutralization, we'll normally use three techniques. We'll intimidate, which is basically what they're talking about, or we'll coerce a target or surrounding individuals of that target, and that's using force of some sort, or we'll terminate them. It's all that simple. It's hard to say exactly who it is, but it's whoever has something to lose, and I think these ladies can probably tell us better than anyone who it is that has most to lose by them coming forward.
Well, you know what strikes me, and I'm thinking about some of the viewers out there, and I'm trying to talk a little bit from their perspective. There might be people who have never heard of any of this before, and they're going to think, you know, they may have all kinds of thoughts about it. But then why would our government go to such lengths as harassing and telephone calls and doing some of these things? What is it? What do they have to hide? So why would they be so afraid of a woman coming, or a group of women, or some people coming and saying these stories?
Well, you know, the truth is a very powerful thing, and some can't abide by having the truth come out. The atrocities that have been done in the past that are coming out now, we read in major media, is the use of American soldiers for tests and AIDS research, and I think syphilis research. A group of black American soldiers or black Americans were used for that. So the atrocities, and men died from that. I mean,
right.
They physically died from that. It's no different than today. People actually die from the things that these women were used for. I'll tell you that now. Whenever we needed, in the agency, if we needed a talent, if we needed someone to come in that could get close to our target, for example, there was one that we had in Vietnam. We needed someone to get close, and she actually used a knife that had a ice pick edge, and then she'd use venom on the end of it. It would be placed in the base of their skull, and she would assassinate them while they were making love. You know, I wouldn't doubt that these women might be used for something like that in the past. So anyone who wants to come forward and expose this, especially if they're going to tell who their handlers were, there's no statute of limitations there, Ryan.
Right.
Those people can be placed in prison for the rest of their life or receive the death penalty.
I see. So then it makes sense.
May I ask Chip a question? Chip, if you can give a direct answer to this, what agency would be involved in these type tactics? Would it be Special Forces, i.e. CIA trained, or what?
Normally it would be a CIA trained, someone who has gone through that training, but you know, to say that the CIA is involved in this is very difficult, because we don't operate as a single intelligence entity any longer. We work on an international basis. I've worked in the latter years with the agency. I was actually tasked across to an international group that comprised of Danish intelligence, Turkish intelligence, U.S. intelligence, and British intelligence. And we would task on from there. We would pull in talent, ex-Delta Force, ex-Special Forces. We even used African special intelligence. So, you know, it really depends. I can tell you now that the orders for a lot of what we did came from some people associated with the G7 group of countries, not necessarily the United States.
G7 meaning what?
Well, the financial countries that are involved in the G7 summits. So.
Okay, well, thank you all for being on the program today. And now, if there are any viewers or listeners out there, they want to get help, maybe they've been ritually abused, or maybe they're involved in a court case, or they just need to talk about something like this, what would you suggest? Who would they call? What would they do?
Yes, Ryan, I think that people could call in California, there's a LA Women's Task Force on Ritual Abuse, and I have a number where I could refer people to, and that number is area code 213-650-0807. And there's also a group in California called MASA, which is Mothers Against Sexual Abuse, and they could obtain legal defense information there. And I think that this number that I gave you would be probably the best source.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Ted?
I have a number, an 888 number. I'd be glad to help if it's at all possible. I am very, very busy because I don't have a staff or anything. But my 888 number is 888-609-2916.
Okay, thank you. Now, Barbara, don't you have a foundation you're working with?
Not a foundation exactly. I'm trying to start a fund to raise money so that we can investigate and document and legitimize some of these things, that legitimize the fact that these things have happened to us. I do have that, but there's really no phone number that I can give connected with that, because at this point it's my home phone number and I really don't want to give it out.
Okay, fine. So, go ahead.
Yeah, well, another suggestion I have is that people call my 888 number and ask for a copy of my research. It's important that individuals are aware of what's going on, and we have the documentation. Chip has documentation. I have documentation. These ladies have documentation. It's an educational process. And I have my own radio talk show. It's on in the mornings from 8 to 10 on satellite. It's Galaxy 1, Transponder 17, 5.58 audio wide band, where I'm trying to get the word out. I also have my own television talk show in Las Vegas.
And what station is that on, and the time?
That's on at station KKJK, Channel 19, non-cable in Las Vegas, Nevada. But I'm doing everything I can to educate people. And, you know, we're not just a bunch of clucks sitting up here. We all have credibility, and we have the research, and we've been there, done that. This guy has, I have, and these two ladies.
Yes, you have, and I can vouch for that. Chip, you also have material available, and I know we've talked about it before, but would you say what you have and give your numbers?
We do. We have a number of books available that is actually the documentation that shows the corruption. You know, many people talk about the government's involvements in some of these nefarious activities. We have those in books that part of the government harassment that I receive is because I wouldn't turn those documents over to them. I didn't want them to burn out their shredders. You know, they had enough work. So, so those documents can be obtained by calling 1-800-201-7892 and ask for extension 58. We additionally have a website, and you can access our website, the Black Ops Reporter, by going to www.2.net, scroll down the page and click on Black Ops. And if you'd like to email me, you may email me at chiptatum@aol.com.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for being on the show, all of you. And I applaud you for being able to come on and say these things. I think it's really hard. It would be hard for me, and I think it would be hard for other people out there, and you're courageous to go ahead and do this. And it's a service that we need, that the country needs. And so stay with us. Chicago Health Television, and let's say that again. So stay with us for Chicago Health Television, and I'm Ryan Elliott. Thank you.